What's up, guys? My name is Veronica, also known as Coach V, and I am your host for the Oversharing podcast with Live the Dream Media. Guys, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Oversharing podcast. I'm your host, Veronica, also known as Coach V. Thank you guys for being here. I know I say that every week, but every week we're working hard to get a new guest in here to share their wealth of knowledge. I'm really excited about today. But before, let's do some housekeeping items before we get our guest on. I just want to remind you, if you guys follow me on Instagram, we are hosting our Drop It Like a Squat event this Sunday, September 29th at 8 a.m. with me and Coach Lauren. That's going to be, thank you, Soto. That's going to be a 1 full hour of lower body exercises with me, and then we're doing 30 minutes of yoga with Coach Lauren. If you are interested in signing up for that, please message me either on Facebook or Instagram. I'll get you guys signed up. We have some spots available, and I would love to have you guys there. Another really important thing, cue them with this one, Soto. We have an app. Make sure you guys download the Live the Dream Media app on Google or your app store. You can download it wherever. You can listen to our podcast live. It is completely free. And then it plays some tunes in the background if you want some noise, whatever it is that you need. So if you don't want to pay for Spotify right now, if you don't want to pay for Apple, make sure you guys download our app so you guys can listen to our podcast, not just with me, but with some of our amazing other podcasters in the studio. So again, super excited to be here today with our guest. We're going to cut to a quick little ad break, and then we're going to come back and get this ball rolling. So we'll be right back. This episode of the Oversharing podcast is brought to you by Strong as a Mother with Shauna Leanne. Join like-minded mothers working towards similar goals online or in person. Shauna's 6-week Strong as a Mother program focuses on movement, nutrition, mindset, and accountability for new and expecting mothers. Reach out to Shauna via Instagram and mention Podcast20 to receive 20% off your first 6 weeks.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltoalan.com. Again, that's selltoalan.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, CopperCreekCookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, CopperCreekCookies.net.
All right, guys, we are really excited about today's guest. She is someone I truly admire in so many aspects of my life. She is a co-owner of the Arena on the East Side. She had a huge awakening a few years ago, lost 105 pounds naturally, became a certified personal trainer and coach, and works every single day to help women in the surrounding areas find their true power and ability through movement and nourishment. Please welcome back to the Oversharing podcast, Miss Victoria Jones.
Yay. Hi.
She's not allowed to be nervous because she's been on the podcast 3 times.
I should be very comfortable at this point.
It's okay.
I love sitting with you, and that makes all the nerves go away.
Thank you. The last time I saw you, we were taking the photos for the cover of the podcast. So
yes.
Thank you for those. Those are amazing. I'm obsessed with those pictures.
It was all your vision, girl. I'm just there to hype you up and say, yeah.
You and me in 110-degree weather at, what is it, Barrio Viejo downtown. I was like, dang, we picked the worst day.
I was literally getting messages, people saying, only the two of you guys would be out here in like
in this weather, full glam, sweating in the AC Vents.
Yes, trying to fan ourselves off. Like,
It was pretty bad.
Just help us. We got through it though.
It was awesome. The pictures were great.
So much fun.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
Catch us up, girlfriend. How was your morning?
Thank you for having me. So this morning was good. It was eventful. I'm trying to adapt to a new morning routine right now. So I'm getting up at 5 a.m., which is huge for me because your girl likes to sleep.
Same.
So by not choice of my own, I have, 3 kids and I have to get a lot of things
Things done.
Things
That's
done.
probably the only time you have to I literally just told one of my clients this. I was like, I know it sucks, but you might have to get up a little bit earlier so you can have an hour to yourself, because as soon as your kids wake up, the first thing they want is mom.
And I'm noticing that. So I definitely have never been, even in the past 3 years, I've never been the 5 a.m. girly.
Neither have I, dude. I don't got a choice.
Yes, so, and that's the thing. So once it becomes almost like a non-negotiable, or it's not an option for you, I realized that I am able to get more done in that time before they even wake up. So it's
Are you going to bed earlier?
I am. And I'm very proud of myself as well. So I do like the shift as far as, because as a photographer too, you're used to kind of staying up very late throughout the night.
Editing through the night.
And editing.
Yeah.
But I realize I like the schedule now of going to bed earlier, getting good quality sleep, and then getting more productive earlier in my day.
Morning.
And I feel like I have the energy to last all the way through my evening training.
You do a really good job of can't be me, love you. Anybody that can do this, hats off to you. But you do a really good job of saying, I'm gonna work out. And I see this on your social media.
Right.
Everyone has a different perception of what they see on social media.
Right.
For me particularly, if I don't work out before 10, 12 is pushing it, the chances of getting that workout are slim. So I can't imagine being a mom and then still making that time because you're so exhausted. I don't know how you do it.
So honestly, that just started for me this year because of the arena. So before that, exactly like you, if it didn't get done by 10 a.m., there is high chances and likelihood it wasn't going to get done. But once you become adapted to that type of schedule, you roll with it because that's what keeps you kind of motivated and consistent. But
are you teaching early morning classes at the arena too?
Yes.
So this is my little nugget of advice that you didn't ask for. Because I work early morning clients and then the cheerleaders practice at 5:45, it's all within the same realm of early. And I caught myself last week. I had so much anxiety, probably around a number of different things, but I was like, okay, what can you control? And I was like, I need to start waking up at the exact same time every single day, because I feel like I'm trying to sleep in a little bit extra. If my first client was at 5:15, but then the girls had practice at 5:45, I was like, I'm going to sleep in an extra 15 minutes. I'm just fucking get up. Because then I feel like I'm starting my day really high stress, and I wasn't coming down.
Exactly.
This is only day 2, but I feel much better. Yeah. I was like, oh, look, we're on the same wavelength. Dude, I was just 4:15, alarm goes off.
Yeah.
I'm waking up. I'm making myself shower in the morning. I'm rolling my face. I'm if you have the extra time, just sit there for a second, because for the past 2 months, I've been just rolling. And I'm I got to get out of the house. I got to go drop off Suki. I got to get to practice. And I just wasn't coming down.
And that's exactly what I was experiencing. So I think that
much
shift
anxiety
in the morning, and my husband would always send me videos kind of little golden nuggets of, it's not good to stress as soon as you wake up. And I didn't realize it was just a matter of how I was scheduling myself.
Yeah.
And I think it's vital. And like you said, it's only day 2, but I really do think it's vital for me to wake up with that me time first and foremost and start slow.
Yeah.
So I do my...
Start slow, bro. The way I'm talking to myself in my head. I have to remind myself, especially with my phone. I was doing this thing where I was plugging my phone in away from my bed for a while, and that was working great.
Right.
And then I started plugging it right by me again, and then I was like, why are you going backwards? You were doing so well. Such a bad habit. Because I instantly want to wake up, check my email, check my messages, and now I'm if it's waited all night, it can wait a couple more hours.
Exactly.
So I don't know if you struggle with that, but that's another one. I plug my phone away.
Absolutely. I definitely do that as well. It's not away from my room, but it's definitely enough where I have to wake up and get out of my bed and go get my phone. But I'm definitely taking advantage of the do not disturb feature on my phone now.
It's important.
I need that scheduled time to really remind myself that I don't have to immediately be on the moment my eyelids open.
Get up. Right. Yeah. I've gotten a little bit better at that, but it is a lot of practice, especially with like the cheerleaders, with work, with this. Like, I have to be able to separate.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's like a thing. Again, I say this probably every podcast. I'm like, do these things just come with age where like these things that used to not make me so anxious put me over the edge, and I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop, and I'm like, when's shit gonna hit the fan?
Yeah.
Like, how do I just live through this? Is this normal?
I think you're right. I think you're right on the money, and I think the older that we get, the more responsibility we take on.
Yeah.
You know, so if you think about it, when we were in high school, it wasn't necessarily that way, you know, because all we had to think about was school. Sometimes part-time jobs, but I think it all kind of stems there and then just continuously grows as you get older. So
I think my theory on that too is that we are so much more accessible. And I've had this conversation with my assistant coach, with Ernie, with clients. Like, we live in a world where we are so accessible now, whether it's social media, whether it's your phone, people have your personal number, people are contacting you directly.
Right.
And like, we used to not have that. Like, I used to leave cheer practice and that was it. I wasn't contacting my coach until I saw her again. Like, there was such a big separation.
Yeah.
And especially for someone like you and myself, where we are helping run a business, your own individual business, you're taking care of your clients, you feel like you have to be at everyone's beck and call, you know? And that's not good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it just comes from, I always talk about, you know, that perfectionism mindset and having those high expectations that you set for yourself.
Yeah.
And I realize now that I have to, there's no ifs or buts about it. I have to be able to manage my time in a way that I can still give myself fully and give you my undivided attention. But that doesn't mean that I have to give it round clock, like 24/7.
That's a good separation.
I have to rest, you know. And
I can give you the attention you need. I just can't give it to you 24 hours out of the day.
And I know that now that I show up as my best when I have that recharge, that reset, those moments of just starting slow. Makes a world of difference.
Since we're already on the topic, what does your 5 a.m. morning look like?
So 5 a.m. as of the last 2 days.
2 days, people. 2 days.
A whole whopping 2 days. Now I wake up. I do just a little like Christian morning meditation. It takes 3 minutes, and I purposefully, you know, kind of just start my day that way. And then I go into my garage. I literally slip on my tennies. They're right by my bed. And then I just go ahead and I go into my garage before anybody wakes up. My husband's already at work, but I slip into the garage and then I just start my treadmill. Also before my mind even starts talking myself out of it. To give yourself an idea
not to.
And so I just hop on there with a bun to the side of the head or however
like I'm running in my PJs.
Nobody's seen me in my own garage, but I show up, and I think that's the best feeling, is being able to say, you know, I'm overcoming like those challenges mentally.
Yeah.
And just like that self.
Are you fully working out, or are you just walking for a mile?
I'm doing an incline walk. So I'm doing an incline walk for 45 minutes. And I do it at an incline of 10, and I go at the speed of 3.
What are you listening to? Music? Podcast?
Girl.
So are you listening to the Oversharing podcast with Coach V and LTD Media?
I should be. Tomorrow I'll be listening. But
you're like, tomorrow I'll be listening to my own episode. It's okay. I don't judge you.
To be honest, Lev, I have always, for the last 3 years, I've realized that I've always worked out with music playing in the background.
Yeah.
And not to say that
that's bad.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
But I've realized that I've almost utilized music.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
A crutch.
I know what you're going to say.
And I feel like I've turned off music. I just want to be with my thoughts. And I think that has a huge impact with the starting slow. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah. That is, so I don't think people realize how much noise that we're surrounded by constantly, especially working in a gym, working with the cheerleaders, listening to the podcast.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm always talking to somebody. Like, so every now and then when I've just fucking had it, like I'll drive in it's like 4 a.m, it's dark, and I'm like,
yes,
silence.
Yes.
Nothing. And also on the way home, like it's like my time to like unwind. And that's hard. People don't like to hear themselves breathe, and people don't like to hear themselves think.
Wow.
That's
powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, it's been a challenge because, like I said, I think I've used music as like the pump me up that I need.
Yeah.
If I'm not taking like a pre-workout or something like that. But I realized that when I am with my thoughts, especially, I don't know if you find this to be true for yourself, But when I'm doing cardio or running or walking, just simply walking, I feel like one, I've achieved like mental clarity first and foremost, but then I feel like my creative thoughts are actually flowing mostly.
You're not distracted.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I realized that I was like tuning out all these ideas that I have just kind of sitting in me, but I didn't really give myself an opportunity to
let them
explore
out.
that.
Yeah.
And so now turning that music off and literally just listening to me breathe, listening to my thoughts, it has kind of calmed me in a sense where I feel like I can finally gather my thoughts in a better way, in an improved way, and actually tune in to like those ideas that I'm kind of sitting on.
You're like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
That's
every day
really
a new
good.
idea. Yeah. So you finish your 45 minutes on the incline?
Yes. And then I just get my doggy on the leash. He's ready. I hear him kind of his little steps in his bed.
Yeah.
And then I carry him outside and we go outside and we walk for just 20 minutes. It's just like a little loop around the neighborhood. And then as soon as I come into the house, my
Girls
kiddos are like, good morning.
Yeah.
And hi, Mom. And
You're like,
everything
hi,
that.
I'm ready for you now.
Yes. And that's like a little bit over an hour of that me time to just reconnect, have those thoughts, and be
it's
able
nothing
to
crazy.
shift.
You're not trying to do a full strength body workout. You're literally just walking and then walking outside.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's been a good impact for me for sure.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit. I mean, I've had you on the podcast. This is our third time.
Yes.
The first time we recorded out of my apartment.
I love it. That is the best part,
It was awesome.
think.
Yeah. And then we had you come back for season 2, and now we're on season 3.
Wow.
Which is wild.
Yes.
But tell everyone a little bit about your natural weight loss, just to kind of catch everybody up. Long story long or short story long? Long story short, whatever you want.
I can make it short. I feel like I share so much of it online, but I definitely had an awakening. I love that you use that word because for me, that's what it felt like. It was a completely, I think in the moment, did I know that it was that?
Awakening? No.
I don't think so. I don't think I was fully aware, but I definitely was committed, and it certainly felt different as I was navigating through the first 6 months.
When this journey started, like the weight loss journey?
I was 29.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 29, and I think I spoke about it on the last episode, but
It's okay. I can't remember. Let's rehash this, baby.
I just had this moment, a couple of moments. So moment number one was my kids running on the beach, with my husband, and he's doing all these jukey moves. He's like left, right, turn, spin, and like just chasing them around.
And you were just watching them.
Yeah. Oh. And I physically couldn't like keep up. Girl, it was enough to just pull the chairs, the umbrella in the sand. That was a workout for me.
Yeah.
And I was like winded. So I was just kind of trying to catch my breath, watching them play, be so excited. And I realized in that moment, I'm not actually being present in the memory making of their childhood. I'm on the sidelines. And so when I realized that, I immediately was like, something has to change.
Yeah.
And then the second moment was that breakdown that I had in my closet. And I broke down to my husband, and he thought something bad happened. But it was really just, I think every girl has that moment regardless.
It's like that aha moment. And it's like when you hit your wit's end.
Yeah.
Whether you've been working out for a while or not, whether you're frustrated because you're not getting the results that you want. Like, I think my clients have those moments every now and then still, like when we work together and I'm like, whoa, let's take a step back and look at everything that we've accomplished, but that's a different topic. So.
Yes. And I love looking back on that moment because my mindset has completely transformed.
Yeah.
And so instead of thinking so negatively about myself because certain items of clothing weren't fitting a certain way, I learned how to love exactly where I was and who I was in order to get me to where I am today. I always tell my clients, you cannot get to where you want to be. You can't
bully yourself into it.
By hating yourself and criticizing.
Do you feel like you lost over 105 pounds.
Right.
Medically, you're considered obese.
Yes.
Do you think that was something that had more to do with like the lack of movement or the lack of education of nutrition, a mixture of both?
I think it was a mixture of both, but I definitely think it stemmed for me in my personal journey out of almost like a habit of mine of people pleasing. It was my very first time that I had started my own business. I wanted it to do well. I wanted it to succeed. So I thought that in order to be successful at my photography business, I needed to give my absolute all, and every waking moment was to be spent on my
photography
business, whether it be emails, whether it be
editing.
editing.
And let's backtrack how this kind of affects somebody, right? Because people can hear that and be like, oh, she was just really committed. Yeah, but that overcommitment to something, then you're not sleeping correctly. You're on the go. When you're on the go, you're eating fast food.
Yep.
When you're eating fast food, you're munching on more snacks. When you're munching on snacks, your metabolic system is just crashing. Like you're almost like constantly piling on yourself without even realizing. And that's all just because you, in your heart, knew that you were committed to your business.
Yes, exactly that. You literally put it in a nutshell. That's exactly the cycle that I was in. And then you mix that a little bit with the habits, not having a lot of education around nutrition and things like that. Also thinking that like weight training was so new to me. I thought it was truly a man's world. I grew up with a bodybuilding dad, and I just saw men mostly lifting weights.
Yeah.
That was like what I grew up to know as his world.
Yeah.
Now I saw and grew up seeing women kind of be focused on more of the cardio workouts and being, on the
cardio bunnies.
Yeah, exactly. And being on the ellipticals or just running on a treadmill. And so I realized that when I was noticing that something had to give and something needed to change, I knew that I didn't want to pursue cardio as like my focus.
You're like, that's not fun for me.
Yeah. I knew that I wasn't
dragging this wagon down the sand is enough.
But I didn't necessarily know how I was going to go about that.
Yeah.
So you fast forward to, let's see, a couple months after that. After Easter is when I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and make this change. Yeah. And at first, of course, 3 years ago, my mindset was completely different, but I did somewhat approach it in a way where I thought I had to have like this all or nothing mindset.
Yeah.
I went right back into this way of thinking where I was like, okay, you're not going to eat this, you're not going to eat that. It was a list of rules of certain foods that I wasn't going to eat.
Yeah.
But quickly, like I would say even 3 weeks into
backfired.
Immediately I said, I had another moment where I was like, I'm going to write down on a list, what are the reasons that have caused me to fail in the past and keep you on this cycle of yo-yo dieting?
And that was one of them.
And that was one of them. The second one being having a goal weight. I had always had a goal weight in mind. And every single time I would reach it, but then I would just revert back to my old eating habits.
Or when you get there, what happens next?
Right.
And there's no plan for that because the only end of the tunnel that you're seeing is that goal weight.
Yes. So I started to shift my focus to, I'm not going to follow a diet. I'm just going to go ahead and eat whole, nutrient-dense foods.
Yeah.
If it comes from the earth, I'm going to eat it.
And if it eats the earth, I'm going to eat it.
Yes.
Your cow eats the earth. Your chickens usually eat the earth, most good chickens.
Right. And so then I just adopted that type of mindset. And then I also stated, like, instead of having a goal weight, I'm going to show up for just feeling
better.
Good.
Yeah.
And improving my health.
Yeah.
And allowing that to be my focus versus a end-all be-all number on the scale.
Yeah.
And then enter a whole new set of like education around the scale.
It kind of surprises me. And again, this is where like the shift happens, right? Where we talk about these and the things that are different for you as a parent is it's surprising that your dad was a bodybuilder and that you never like piqued like the interest. But now I see you with your girls and the girls are like so involved. Like that's amazing. That's awesome. Like that's the change, right? The change that you're creating. I also think too, when I started training, lifting weights like close to 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, close to 12 years ago, we're getting better, but I remember being like one of maybe 3 girls in the free weight section. And that's just because I'm ballsy and I've been a very like, I don't care girl, right?
Right.
Like I'm going to do what I need to do.
Right.
Now I see like, I would say like 60% men, 40% women. It's getting better, but that thought of like the girls, you look over to the cardio machines and the girls are still on the cardio machines. And I listen to so many other podcasts and so many doctors talk about like just strength training, like literally for women, particularly for women, strength training is literally the best thing that you can do. Nothing beats it. Not your Pilates, not your yoga, not your cardio, not your kickboxing. The best thing that you can do for your body as a woman and your hormones is strength training. but we're still scared.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
I think
We're gonna go into a quick little ad, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Perfect.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
There is a lot of digital marketing and digital advertising agencies throughout the US. I see a new one pop up every day. But we stand out because of our community impact, our client relationships, delivering and doing what we say. That's a key thing, right? A lot of places will tell you, hey, we're going to do this. They don't communicate to you. We're in communication with you. You're going to always get that real small business feel from us. You're going to have ways to contact us, ask us questions, right? Because we want you to do better, but we want to be better every day as well. And we're always innovating. We're always coming up with new ideas, new ways to win, applying for new platforms, and even creating some of our own platforms is some of the stuff we have going forward. So I would say that's what sets us apart.
Soto, if you snuck away to get a Egg McMuffin without me, I'll be pissed.
No, I didn't do that one.
Okay, I'm just making sure. The people over at Copperhead Cookie Company, they got us taken care of. They said, come over when you're ready. If you guys want a egg and what did it say? Egg and bacon biscuit?
Yeah, egg and bacon biscuit by Clint.
I'm going to go get an egg and bacon biscuit. Clint, I'm holding you to it.
I had those this morning. Girl, did you see my stories?
You made 4 of them and there's only one left.
Girl, I made 6.
God damn it,
and
dude.
They ate 4.
When you guys tell me these things, it's hard to convince myself to have a baby. It's been 3 things in the past 2 days. David said, just when you feel like you're caught up on life, you're not.
Yes.
Don't have a baby. I was like, okay.
Forever.
And then my mother-in-law was like, just wait till after. And I'm like, you. And now you're telling me everyone ate your breakfast sandwiches? I don't know if I can handle that.
But you know what? It was so, like, so many people messaged me. They were like, I would have been so upset. And I was like, I was upset.
I mean, I was
yes.
hungry.
But I was happy that they
And what's the
them.
alternative? They're going to reach for some Cheerios or some Cheetos.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, you know what? I'd rather have you have that than something else. So,
but you guys should make my next set of sandwiches.
Yeah. I'm like, you owe me 4 McMuffins.
4 McMuffins. So we were talking about just the change, like the change of like you're changing your girls, like even just with nutrition itself. But
right,
it's surprising that you didn't start training earlier. Like, I don't know.
No,
like,
that's
why?
never crossed my mind ever. I think that I always talk about it and I tell people I feel like training definitely kind of found me.
Yeah.
When you go through a transition like that and a transformation like that, I think naturally you become almost like a resource, if you will, for individuals who see their story very similar to yours. They can relate to you in some capacity. And I felt like this dire burning like fire to just help people
others
that would reach out to me.
Yeah.
That's how it all started.
Yeah. I think, excuse me, I still have like this cough and like a bunch of stuff, but I think that if we can go back and talk a little bit about the importance of like writing, because we hear this so often. I think it's like 80% of women who diet or start some kind of regimen are unsuccessful. That's a big chunk of people. And you're saying I had to write everything down that wasn't working before. And that's very, like, it goes hand in hand with how I approach my clients. When I get a new client and we sit down and have a conversation, we have a consultation, I always ask, I want to know everything that hasn't worked.
Absolutely.
And then we do usually everything that you're doing. It's like we work backwards. It's not I can't have this. It's everything in moderation. It's learning the balance between like, this is going to be something that you do for the rest of your life. And if you go at it balls to the wall, chances are it's not going to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really going about it in a way where it's a slow, progressive step. We're taking this stair step approach versus feeling like you have to be perfect
and climb a mountain by tomorrow
overnight. Yeah. And I don't know where that mindset really stems from, but I think it's just, for me, speaking from my own experience, I didn't want to disappoint myself for the 100th time.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go about a journey, right?
Yeah.
And come back to say it didn't work out for me.
Yeah.
And so I really had to just sit down and really think about the things that I had already approached and I had already executed in the many years that I had tried to lose the weight once and for all and really make it a lifestyle. And I realized that, you know, when you're 29 years old and you're a person who's always, I didn't grow up as an athlete. I did play softball, but I didn't grow up as an athlete by any means. I had always struggled with my weight.
Yeah.
And so I finally was just wanting and desiring an actual lifestyle. And I think that was a huge change for me, where I had to really buckle down and realize that this was going to be something that I was going to pursue for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But when you go about it in a diet culture type of way, it's daunting to think that you have to do that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's why you can't be consistent with it.
Yeah, because then you're thinking, you're already going in thinking, dang, say like, I always use the example of like chicken and rice and a cup of veggies. Like when you're sitting there having chicken and rice 3 times a day, you're like, how am I supposed to do this every day for the rest of my life? And the answer is you're not. You're not supposed to. In a perfect world where somebody who is clinically considered obese or someone that's overweight and wants to make a lifestyle change that they've never made before, the way you did it is the way most coaches train. Most long-term coaches train. Like a lot of my clients that I have, I don't think I have any of my clients for under a year. Most of them a year plus, some 2, some 4. And it's very lifestyle approach. Like no one's ever gone on a chicken and rice diet. Like why? Because I know it's not going to work.
Right.
So why put yourself through it if you know that the last time that you tried it this way, it didn't work?
Right.
What is the alternative? The alternative is the way you approached it.
Right. And thinking more about the abundance, like what am I adding into my diet? What am I adding into my day, my routines, my habits, versus always being so focused and overly focused on the things that you cannot do.
Yeah.
I realized that in thinking what I cannot do, those are the things I wanted to do. If I told myself I can't have cookies, that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily just wanting one cookie. I wanted to overhaul the entire cookie tray.
Yeah. Like
I wanted all of the cookies. You know, and shifting that mindset to abundance, more of thinking I can have more veggies, proteins, you know,
colorful foods.
Right. And then just know that, you know, I can have cookies in moderation.
Yeah.
And I just needed to explore what moderation looked like for me
you.
specifically in my journey.
I also think that what makes it hard you said, I don't know where that stems from as far as like that mentality of like all or nothing. I think that by nature, we want a quick fix, like by like guilty. Like most of us want the results way quicker than they're supposed to come. We're not patient when it comes to that stuff. But I will say that the other thing that doesn't help, again, when we go back to like accessibility and education and social media and how easy it is to get information, when you are constantly being bombarded with all this information, it's so frustrating to sit back and be like, well, what is true and what is not?
Right.
Do I have oatmeal? Do I not have the oatmeal? Do I have almond milk? Do I have regular milk? Do I have eggs? Do I not have eggs? Like it's all these different things that become so overwhelming and people don't stop to think like, whoa, what works for me? And I think that's what most people need to ask themselves is when you're starting to like say you're in a position where you're ready to turn a new leaf and you're like really ready to make that lifestyle change, you have to go in figuring out what works for you.
Absolutely. 1000%. I think when I first started my journey, immediately, you know, my mindset was at war with itself, right? It said you needed to follow a certain specific diet, but then here's the other side where I was like, well, that didn't work for me in the past, so I need to approach this differently. So finally, what I ended up doing is literally, as a mom of 3, mind you, I had twins at the time where they were very young.
Yeah.
They're still very young, but they were younger. And I realized that I needed quick and easy meals.
Yeah.
And just like you said, chicken, rice, and broccoli is not going to work for everybody. For me, certainly not. I need variety.
Yeah.
I need seasoning. I need my food to be delicious and yummy, because if it's not, I'm not going to eat it.
Yeah.
And so I always tell my clients, like, your weight loss journey does not need to mean that you are eating like a rabbit.
Yeah.
When I ask a lot of these women who come to me and they're asking for advice, and they just, you know, they really want to achieve some goals that they have, which are very great to have. But I ask them, what are you eating? And, you know, they'll run through a typical day for me. And it's
2 eggs.
Yeah. 2 eggs.
10 whole grams of protein.
And I'm like, and bacon?
Yeah.
And sausage.
Or sausage. Hash browns.
A slice of toast?
Yeah.
And they're
Some
like, no,
greens,
just the eggs.
Just 2 eggs.
And then for lunch, they're having a chicken salad. And I'm like, is your dressing yummy at least?
Yeah. Is there avocado in that? But okay, hold on. This goes back to the same. So this makes sense, but we laugh. It's comical because it's true.
Yes.
And because we've all done it.
Guilty.
Same. So at one point in my life, I remember being like, 2 eggs and oatmeal for breakfast. And then I was having probably a chicken salad for lunch.
Yes.
And then I was wondering why I was so fucking hungry by the time I got to dinner. Inhaling a bag of hot Cheetos.
Cue the binging, because we're so ravenous.
Because you're so hungry. But if you would have had a fuller breakfast, a nice lunch, you would have had a normal dinner.
And not being afraid to fuel your body.
Yeah.
Especially when you enter in your weight training and all the training that you're doing to try to build muscle.
You need to recover.
So that you can go ahead and lose body fat. It needs to go hand in hand. So we cannot be lifting weights and going heavy in the gym.
And eating that little.
We need to, people will be shocked when I show them like exactly how I eat. I go to restaurants, I ask for double portions of
Protein.
Chicken, steak.
Yeah.
Can I have the chicken and the salmon? Can I have the salmon and the shrimp?
Can I have the steak and the eggs?
I think of White Chicks when he's like, perhaps the salad?
And she's like, perhaps not.
That's me. I'm like, smothered in onions.
Sauerkraut. I love that movie. Some kids will never know.
Right.
That's such a good movie.
But that's exactly the shift that I was able to make early on. And then when I started to see the actual results from this, where I was eating things like, you know, homemade pizza. So instead of, you know, I would still have the cravings because mind you, I was eating mostly fast food out of convenience for my lifestyle. I was a busy mom of 3, managing her own business, having photo shoots, kind of working around the clock around my husband's schedule, but full-time mommy. 2 of my kiddos were not in school. So I had a lot going on. But I realized that out of convenience, we live in a day and age where convenience is kind of
glorified.
Right. But I realized
which
that
in
you
some
can
instances
make it,
we can work with the convenience.
And you can make it convenient from home.
I was
going to
say the convenience doesn't have to be McDonald's drive-thru. The convenience can be a rotisserie chicken.
And that was
and pre-made rice.
The change that I made.
Not that you have to eat chicken and rice, but I'm saying that's the example that I used.
Exactly. Yes.
Also, Costco rotisserie chicken is lit.
Bomb.
So, love it. And okay, so and this is the other thing, right? When we talk about all the general information that's being shared on social media, like processed food is bad for you. I know. I know that there's like stuff that's bad for you, but what's the alternative? If I have to choose between a quick on-the-go rotisserie chicken versus a drive-through, if we got to pick, let's pick the rotisserie chicken.
Right. And allowing that flexibility in your journey.
Because that's what works for you right now.
Exactly. If your journey is either weight loss or even building muscle, sometimes it requires you to be, you know, everybody thinks they have to be very, very strict and almost like in this box. But like you said, you know, sometimes we have to make those choices and those decisions to go ahead and go with that option, even though it might not be ideal, but is it going to help me a little bit get closer to my goal, then I'll choose that option.
I also think one of the biggest things when it comes to like health and wellness, and this is something that I had a conversation with a client about this yesterday, is especially when you get the ball rolling into like the physical changes, you feel better, you look better, your measurements are changing, the scale has shifted a little bit. I think it's really easy to stay in that like all or nothing mindset. And one of the biggest setbacks that I have with somebody that has never done this before is that the all or nothing approach definitely goes into the nutrition aspect. Right. So for example, it'll like her words exactly were, I was thinking like, I went out to a concert, I was drinking, and then I was looking at my progress pictures and I was like, you should be doing better. And then in that thought, I was like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. And then you go down this rabbit hole of like, why am I even doing this? And I'm like, the alternative to that though is like doing nothing.
Wow.
And not seeing the changes that you have already seen. I always tell them like, you have to be able to pull yourself back for a second and be able to look back and see all the changes. In that you also, and I'll scream this from the mountaintops, this doesn't end.
Amen.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Like anyone that's worked out for me knows, even if you don't do it with me for the rest of your life, you have to move your body and eat correctly for the rest of your life. So you might as well convince yourself in your brain that this is the only way. Just do it now. Like, and that doesn't mean, again, it doesn't mean chicken and rice 3 times a day. It doesn't mean 7 workouts a week. It just means that this is now part of your life. And I feel like the sooner that people adopt that mindset, the easier it is. Because then you can go to the concert, get fucked up at Pitbull, have your shots, have your pizza at 2 a.m. because that was fun. And then you wake up the next day, you're probably a little hungover, you shake that off, and then Monday comes around and you get back to right where you were at.
That's where the freedom started to happen for me and the transformation really took off, is that
the freedom. Can you please emphasize that?
Yeah. Oh, I feel free to know now that both worlds can coexist.
Yeah. It's not one way. Two things can be true.
Absolutely. And just having, for me, what has worked for me is the 80-20 method. Some people follow like the 90-10. I love the 80-20 because it allows me more flexibility. But for your point that you just made in regards to movement, I had to find movement that I actually enjoyed. So because I didn't enjoy cardio.
You didn't do cardio.
Right. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this thing. I think I saw a video on Instagram of a girl. Her name is Maria. She goes by Colombian Mafia Fit on Instagram.
Okay, girl, slay.
Girl. Okay, so her workouts were almost like a combination of like a little bit of salsa to warm up, but then she would go into like a full on like weight training workout from home, from your living room.
I love that.
And that's where really my journey started. And she posted a ton of videos and I would just follow them every day. But as soon as I had that moment where I was lifting,
you're like, I like it. Yeah.
It was challenging. And it's not to say that I didn't, I just fell in love with it. No, but I definitely felt different than cardio. It didn't feel like my mind and my body were at war.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed
You weren't having
myself.
to like talk yourself into that next 2 minutes of running.
Yeah.
Like you're just kind of like, okay, I can do
this. And
this.
I was actually looking forward to the next session.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is different for me.
Yeah.
So realizing that you said you have to move your body for the rest of your life. And it doesn't mean the 7-day strenuous, workout that you have to work out 2 hours in the gym or anything like that. No, just finding movement that you thoroughly enjoy. And is going to be something that you can stay consistent with will make the world of difference. And you'll actually want to be able to do this for the rest of your life.
And again, I know we were saying like strength training is the best thing that you can do for yourself,
Absolutely.
for a woman and hormones.
Yes.
That's wonderful. But if you don't want to lift weights, get into anything because again, what's the alternative? Weight training or nothing?
Nothing.
Or Pilates and yoga
Yeah.
and hiking and Tumamok. Like, people are always really surprised. Like, I don't work out like as much as I used to anymore.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like, I don't mind weight training, but I really enjoy HIIT classes and I can't do them right now because it's like not good for my hormones.
Right.
It's not good for my cortisol levels. But if I had the choice, I would be in a group training, HIIT style. I can't do CrossFit because I know that I'll go kill myself because I will go balls to the wall, put me on my hands, throw a ball over, fling me over the bar. voila. Like, I would love to do that, but that doesn't work for me right now.
Right.
So I have to, unfortunately, do the things that I don't, and then I try to sprinkle here and things that I do enjoy, right?
Right.
So again, don't let the alternative be, I don't like strength training, and Coach V and Victoria said that that's like the best thing that you can do. I didn't say it's the only thing you can do.
Right.
I said it's the best thing you can do.
Right.
So if you don't want to do that, that's fine, girl. Find yourself a Pilates, find yourself a little Zumba class, drop it like a thought, whatever you want. I do not care, but move yourself.
Yes, move that body, and it's going to do so good for you. The benefits, like you said, are unmatched, you know. And will I always forever preach weight training and weightlifting? Absolutely. Just because that's how I was able to really shift my mindset from this chasing skinny to chasing just my strength.
I feel like with strength training particularly, there's so many avenues of opportunity to track progress.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to just be, I lost this amount of weight on the scale. It's like, I deadlifted 200 pounds. I benched 100 pounds. I squat whatever, like hitting those marks like gets people excited. Like,
absolutely,
that's things I did a pull-up. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
When I saw that, I was like, damn, I should really get my ass to like an unassisted pull-up. I'm gonna do one next week. I'm gonna send you a video.
I'm working on it. Yes, I would love anybody who could do a pull-up for the first time. Like, tag me, because it made me emotional.
Yeah. Did you cry?
Oh, I cried.
Okay.
When you see
I know
me,
that you were like this, but I was like, is she?
I just didn't want to show the camera.
I was like, oh my! I was crying. I was like, oh my god, oh my god.
So a few people knew immediately, more of my family, but they were like, I'm crying with you. Oh, I'm gonna cry right now.
Yeah.
But that always
every
been
time
a
you
goal.
come on here, we always be crying.
It was a goal, girl. Well, that and also a push-up. You know, not on my knees, modified, but. Those were my goals. And so to finally reach that one, because I had reached my push-up goal quite a while ago, but to reach that one, because I had been working so hard at it, finally just felt like that. Like when you set out for a goal and you finally reach it, you're just like, I cannot believe like that just happened right now, because I have been diligently working at it and fail after fail after fail after fail. I honestly thought, I'm going to try it, but I really don't think I got this. Yeah. But I realized that in thinking that way for so long, you were almost keeping myself.
You were pulling yourself from it.
And so I had to change that mindset. So in the video, I should probably share it on Instagram. As soon as I hit play, I said, you're going to get this. Yeah. And you hear me audibly saying that to myself. Yeah. I was like coaching myself.
Hey, you're going to do it.
And I realized that was the shift that I needed to have in order to get myself up.
Yeah. And it worked. I love that.
It was cool.
Tell us a little bit about the idea of the arena. Yes. And then we'll get into some Instagram questions, because some people had some questions.
Oh, cool. Okay. So the arena, we are a martial arts academy. So we're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu academy, and we also train Muay Thai, which is a form of kickboxing. Okay. So if you're familiar with boxing, which most people are, we utilize our knees as well, and we also strike with elbows. So we have a lot of different points of striking.
Contact.
Yes. And it's a lot of fun, girl. I need you to come out.
We're going to go.
Yes,
we're gonna go. We're gonna get that rescheduled. The Barbell Babes are gonna go to some Muay Thai.
Yes,
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai
sounds like Maui to me.
I know.
Sounds Hawaiian.
Yes,
is there a beach?
But it's so much fun. It's high energy. It's a lot of fun because the music gets you going. But it's just a cool way of doing cardio.
It's kind of cool to see. Like I know I told you it's surprising that you didn't train with your dad or like pick that up, and now you co-own a gym with your dad.
Yeah,
that's so cute.
It's been an awesome thing, I think, for the both of us.
Has it brought you guys together?
Oh, definitely. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I told them that growing up, he and I were the ones that would actually butt heads quite a bit. And it's surprising because I'm like, I don't know if we're much alike, but we definitely would butt heads. And now to be able to work with him, it's just been so fulfilling and rewarding to be able to say that I work with my dad. Yeah. Like I co-own a gym with my dad.
What was that conversation like? Was he like, hey, this is what I want to do? Like, are you in or?
Yeah. That's actually what.
Are you in, bro? Are you what?
He was like, at the time I was training at the gym of Tucson. Yeah. And I live, where I live.
Yeah,
I live
on the east side.
all the way, on the east side. And so I realized, the drive time, it was quite a bit. And
it's like an hour and a half a day.
Yeah, and to have to like pick up my girls from school and things like that. And he said, listen, you know, my dream has been to like open up my own academy. What would you think about, you know, you having your own like place to train? And I was just like, what do you mean? And he's like, and I thought, honestly, girl, I thought he was going to ask me to be like manager. Like, I want you to be the manager. And he was like, I want you to co-own with me. And I was just like, really?
For real, Dad?
Really, Dad? Thank you so much.
That's so sweet.
It honestly just kind of unfolded from there. But it was a matter of 3 months, girl, that we spoke about it in December.
And then we were like,
by
let's
March,
go.
we were open.
That's awesome.
And we have clients coming in through the doors. We just hit our 118th member.
Nice.
So we're doing really good. The community out there has absolutely been amazing.
Yeah.
They've received us so well.
Well, there's not a lot over there. Like
No.
there's like a couple like box gyms, like open gyms, but there isn't a lot of like community gyms.
Yeah. So it's been very fulfilling to be able to fuse both martial arts and also strength training.
Yeah.
Because I think with his bodybuilding background, he understands that strength training is going to be very beneficial in every realm that you showcase yourself in. We have, you know, competitions with jiu-jitsu. We've got just a variety of different things and programs, but it all goes hand in hand. If you're strong and you're strength training, you can fuse the two together.
That's amazing.
So it's high, girl.
Did you cry when he asked you?
Oh, I didn't cry, but I definitely cried when we opened.
Yeah.
When he asked me, I was honestly just kind of shocked. And we'll see where
The way
this goes.
I would never work for my dad. I love that man, but I know that man, and I would, dude, he's rough.
Really?
Oh my God, he has like no softs, like no.
Really?
Like I'm his youngest, and he's weird. My dad's weird.
Okay.
He's not weird. Like it's just growing up, it was very like side hugs, like very.
Well, okay, that's how my dad
seco.
is.
Like
that's
very
how my
dry.
dad is. He will. It's very tough for him to
Express
show
emotion. Yeah.
So I've noticed the older he gets, it's becoming a little bit easier.
Yeah, it gets a little. They're more sensitive. I will say what helps. I mean, I feel like being self-aware. Is one thing. Making the changes of what you're self-aware about. I don't know how to say this. Like, there's a difference between self-aware and being, like, I don't even know how to, my brain, like, I know what I'm thinking, but I can't say it. But with him particularly, I understand now that he's very, like, you have to almost get him. Like, I have to get him. I have to be very particular. Like, last time I saw him, I was like, so tell me about your dad. Like, I met my tata, but I was talking to him in Spanish. So I was like, tell me about your dad. Like, what was it like? And he, like, I could see that he kind of like jumped at the idea of being able to like have that conversation, but I have to work hard for it. Yeah, but that's just how Mexican dads are.
That's how.
Dude, my
they
dad
are.
didn't tell me he loved me until I was like 22.
Yeah, I noticed that with my dad that he's that way.
Yeah,
he'll send me reels on Instagram of like daughters getting married and the dad crying. So
he's
I'm like,
crying.
Is this
Are
his
you
way of
crying?
telling me that you love me,
dude? Okay, at least he answered. I text my dad. Let me tell you, I text my dad one time. I sent him like this old picture of me like as a baby on his lap. I was like, I love you, Dad. Have a great week. 3 weeks later, he answers me. He goes, like just this whole beautiful spiel. 3 weeks later, like he had just seen the message. I was like, it probably took him 30 minutes with his big ass ogre fingers to like message what he wanted to say.
Was it sentimental though?
It was a little sentimental.
For him,
for
right?
him,
Like for that level.
It was hard work. We're gonna do one more quick ad break, and then we'll come back and wrap up.
Sounds good.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
There is a lot of digital marketing and digital advertising agencies throughout the US. I see a new one pop up every day. But we stand out because of our community impact, our client relationships, delivering and doing what we say. That's a key thing, right? A lot of places will tell you, hey, we're going to do this. They don't communicate to you. We're in communication with you. You're going to always get that real small business feel from us. You're going to have ways to contact us, ask us questions, right? Because we want you to do better, but we want to be better every day as well. And we're always innovating. We're always coming up with new ideas, new ways to win, applying for new platforms, and even creating some of our own platforms is some of the stuff we have going forward. So I would say that's what sets us apart.
So we have a few Instagram questions, but you wanted to tell me one other thing about the arena, and I want to hear it.
Yes. So we are going to be doing on November 9th, we're doing a small business local fair. So we're going to have a lot of small businesses out there. It's also an open house. So we'll have open
some
gym.
classes.
Yes.
Cute.
So everybody can come and check it out and like actually see, the facility.
Yeah.
And also meet, us,
The trainers.
instructors that are there. But it's just very high, highly focused on family. Like it's a very big, close-knit family. So it's very family focused. You have the kids program, which is probably the largest program that we have with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And
Your girls do that too, right?
Yes, girl.
I love that.
And they are on fire for it.
Yeah.
They actually grew up being very girly, but now they have some type
They're like,
of
fuck
fire.
around and find out.
Yeah.
You won't say it, but I will.
Jiu-jitsu moms say the other day, I'm like brushing her hair before she has to go into her class. And I'm like, Mama, don't be afraid to choke them.
Gets a call.
And I'm like, wait, what
from
am
the
I
principal's
saying?
office. Excuse me, Miss Jones. Your daughter put a little boy in a headlock on the playground. You're like, yep.
And the reason being is because I saw that she would second guess herself up against somebody who's big, like older than her. So I was trying to reinforce
like
that
you can do it.
Like, baby, you can. Don't be afraid. Like,
Don't be afraid to put that little boy in a headlock.
But then I almost
He gonna
retracted
learn
my
today.
words. I'm like, oh, that didn't sound really good.
Oh my gosh.
But we're really excited. So November 9th, it starts at 3 p.m. It's free. Everybody can come out. There's going to be a DJ. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be, local business vendors, all of the good stuff. So,
Sounds good. We'll have to share more about that.
Yes.
So we covered a few of these questions, but there's like a few that we didn't. So
okay.
Do you deal with imposter syndrome? And if so, if the answer is yes, how do you deal with that?
Wow. Okay, I do deal with it, but I'm almost that type of person that I feel like I do best under pressure.
Yeah.
And so when I do have those moments of doubt, I feel like I actually I produce better.
Yeah.
Because
like you rewired your brain and be like, oh, we're under pressure. Mm-hmm. Let's prove them wrong.
Let's do this.
Let's prove your brain wrong.
Yes.
I love that.
For sure. So I approach it in a way where I now look at, instead of the doubt that my mind is trying to get me to believe, I just sit there and say, I know a lot of people before starting something new, they say, what if I fail? I say, what if I fly?
Yeah.
Like,
what if I
soar?
succeed? Yeah.
What is the worst case scenario?
Yeah.
And if you do fail, quote unquote, like that's all leading you to just your path of success,
This one came in a couple times, and we'll do this one, and then we'll have to wrap up. But what is the biggest challenge in the entirety of your fitness journey?
Wow, that's a good one. For me, I think just my self-doubt. And now, like as you could hear in my last question or answer, that I've sat with that a long time.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of practice. It doesn't come overnight as well, but just really reinforcing for myself that I am who I need to be in order to get me to where I want to be. I don't need to wait.
Yeah.
I don't need to obtain more or different in order to get me there. I have it already now.
Yeah. I think that's like really, really well said. And I feel like one of the biggest things that I would advise anybody to do, and maybe you can give me some 2 cents on this too, is I always tell people is like, it sounds cheesy, but writing lists about the good things that one could potentially come of it, or the good things that have already came out of something, like your progressive, long-standing weight loss journey.
Right.
And then when you have those moments of doubt, you actually have something tangible to look at.
Yes.
And I told my client that yesterday. I was like, you need to write down a list of like everything down to the T that this has positively impacted your life.
1,000.
So I'm confident. I feel more confident in the clothes that I wear. I feel more energy. She's a nurse. I can pick up my patients without struggling.
Wow.
I can run a code red without feeling like my heart's going to beat out of my chest. I can spend a hike weekend with my parents. Like all these like things that you don't think are such, tangible, important things.
Right.
But when you write them down and then you're having that moment of like, of doubt, you actually have something to look at. And I've told friends even with this, like I've told, one of my friends is starting a new relationship, and at the beginning they're like, trying to figure out, is this working? Is it not working? Do you feel safe in this relationship? And then I told her, I was like, I feel like you need to write a list of all the reasons why you do feel safe, all the ways that person has provided that safety for you. That way, when you're getting in your head and you're anxious or you're feeling like it's a setback, you have something to look at to remind you of all the good that has come from it.
Absolutely. I love that so much.
Yeah. So that's like my biggest like nugget for anyone starting like a weight loss journey. If you're starting from scratch, it's going to be hard, but it's like the mindset is so important. Remembering that this is going to be something that you do for the rest of your life. So you might as well do it in a way that is tangible, approachable, and sustainable for the long run.
Exactly. And that key word being sustainable, giving yourself grace when you need it, and knowing that you're not going to be perfect at this.
Yeah.
The perfectionism is what's going to set us back and keep us there.
Yeah.
Once we let that go, we realize that we can actually go about this the rest of our life, and it doesn't sound as daunting because we're having flexibility and moderation, and we're loving our life because our food is seasoned and it is good for our soul.
Seasoned and there's cheese. All right, girl. Well, I absolutely love having you here all the time. It's been great. Babe. Let everybody know where they can find you, and we'll close up the episode.
Okay, sounds good. So I am honestly only active on Instagram, so you can find me at ThatTrainerTori, and you can DM me. My inbox is always open. I'm an open book. If you have any questions for me, definitely happy to answer. And then I'm also... Well, you can find me at the arena.
Yeah, at the arena. Also, there was a few questions that we didn't answer. So those of you, if you're listening, just shoot her a DM. She's such a sweet girl. I love talking to her. Love having you on.
Thank you.
You guys know where to find me. I'm allthings.gpsoto on Instagram. And we will see you guys next week for an amazing episode with a double guest whammy. See you guys next week. Bye.